Well, hello, welcome. This is Matt, this is Adam, and this is Chris. And 20 years ago, we were home free.
Life is easier with you. Easier with you. You can make the traffic stop by walking down the avenue. Yeah, yeah. You were here before I knew. Before I knew.
This is the 20-year anniversary of the formation of Home Free, and so we thought it'd be a great time to go back and retrospectively talk about how the heck this whole thing started and got to where it is today.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be super fun.
I hope
We're
so.
going to have so much fun.
Yeah. If not, let's edit the dumb stuff.
Well,
Starting
we're trying
there.
to get to this 30-second episode.
Nothing left.
So what should we talk about first?
Well, let's
start?
way back in high school. You guys are best friends.
Right.
Oh, you went way back.
Like, okay, we're going way back. So actually, Adam and I met in fourth grade, and then eventually he let me come to his house where I met you.
Yeah.
But I think the first time we really started doing anything together were like basketball games, just the three of us.
Really? That
You
must not
remember
have gone well for you.
I'm not playing basketball. The first time the three of us sang together.
Oh.
We'll get to that later. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, so, we grew up in a musical family, and so we always had music around us, and that joined right in with all that. And into high school,
Yeah.
and then we're in choir together, doing theater together, and I put my first kind of group together that senior year in high school.
Yeah.
We put a little chamber group or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were always the one that pushed us to do stuff or like to try this or try that. Otherwise, we would have done nothing. We would have just
A lot of video games to play. Rap for the rapper.
Yeah.
Rap of the Rapper, that's right. Yeah, I think you roped us into singing at some Mankato East High School basketball games, like National Anthem.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, man.
And that was terrifying.
Yeah.
But really, it wasn't until you had graduated and it was our senior year that you were like, I have an idea. You guys know about rockapella, right?
Yeah, so that was my first year, my freshman year in college. Napster had just become a thing. So suddenly our network had all of these songs on it. And I rediscovered rockapella, because I remember them back in Carmen, San Diego days.
Right.
And I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. I want to do this too. How do we do this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I roped you guys in, and we had some other things through church stuff. Remember Be Glad was our first things we put together with the piano on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to try to do Pretty Woman. And there was my mom put on a talent show at the church quite often, every year or something. We said, let's do that for that. And
This is December of 2000.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that up until that point, it was a cappella, but it was fairly traditional.
We just
four-part
sing without
harmony, right?
Just sing.
And so when we decided to borrow rockapella's version of Pretty Woman, it was kind of drawing straws on who was gonna beatbox, right?
Well, originally I was going to do it. And then I remember kind of rehearsing the song with Adam, and I don't know if it's just us two or you guys or something, and I said, this seems unusual since I'm a more experienced singer. I should probably be singing. Do you want to try beatboxing instead? And he was like,
That's what he asked me.
Right.
And in fear of him trying to do the beatbox, I immediately said, yes, I will take it upon myself to learn how to do this and make that happen.
And I mean, it played fairly naturally between your trumpet performance and beatboxing, right? I mean, you had very really great lip work.
Sort of. I mean, I was pretty young at that time.
Oh,
So
all right.
I was.
yeah, we were all pretty young.
The thing is, I think everyone that just starts off beatboxing, no matter how good or quickly you learn, everybody starts off terrible until you figure it out.
Boots and cats.
So
Yeah.
I mean, that first performance, I just tried to make the most basic sounds, just to try to put a beat behind it. Do we have a video of that?
I'm going to look for it. I don't think we do anymore. But we have at least a picture, I think, somewhere.
So this will be an edit where if we have the video, it'll go to that. Otherwise, it'll just be a still shot of the event. But in that performance, I mean, we hammed it up as much as we possibly could.
Oh yeah.
We did a whole back to the audience.
Yep.
And then on everyone's part, every entrance that each of us had, I think was it all at the same time, or was it individual?
I don't remember, but there was some kind of jump turn
Right,
around.
everybody did
There was a
jump
turn.
jump spin.
With our wired
Start the
microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Singing to the pastor's wife.
No, it was us three and Darren Scruggs that made that first 4-person.
And Dan
performance of
Lemke.
it.
Dan Lemke.
And
Yep.
Dan Lemke.
Yeah, the first 5.
Yeah.
We have, I know pictures of that too with the
Yep.
5 of us.
Yep.
Yeah, we learned. Then after that went through, we had the tuxedo shirts too.
Right.
Yeah, we handed up as much as we could
Right.
to make it work, and the audience loved it.
And the little fedoras, the plastic fedoras. The audience loved it, and we knew immediately after this we could go pro because we had probably 2 people come up to ask us to do birthday parties. So the rest is history.
Yeah, you got like 5 people to be like, oh, you guys should do this, man. You're really good. Like, that's all the convincing we needed.
Yeah.
I mean, we were 4 of those 5.
Yeah.
Who's the 5th one?
My mom.
Right?
Yeah.
And also, we should note that we sang the song as a serenade to the pastor's wife because
Right.
we needed that extra little gem, that extra little part to make the whole thing
Cohesive.
well, just to make it entertaining for the audience. We
Right.
thought, well, if we're terrible, at least we're involving this aspect, so it'll cover that bit.
That's true.
Yeah, but that was the start, and then we learned a few more songs.
Yeah.
I think my mom, she had so many musical connections around the area. People were always asking her for entertainment. Got like a bank gig or something in one of the little areas around here. You had the long hair, remember that? You had the long hair. And we had like 5 songs then.
I mean, they were still rockapella
Covers,
borrows,
yeah.
But like Keep On Smiling,
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me, yeah.
Those are the first 3 songs.
Maybe Dock of the Bay. That was one of those.
Brown Eyed Girl was one of the first
That was
ones.
kind of soulful.
Yeah. So
We did a few more things, and then that summer is when I got my job at Microsoft.
right.
So I left.
So you left.
To Dallas.
Yeah, to Dallas.
What Chris doesn't know is that was the first time Home Free really took off.
Coincidentally, that
Yeah.
summer really.
But we really should pause here because did we have a name for our group at
No.
the talent show?
No, not at all.
So we didn't have a name. It was just like
Us guys.
the Hosanna Church guys, right? So it wasn't until after that magical performance that we're like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna need a name.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
that spring at some point.
I don't remember
Well, I'm
the gems that we came up with, but they were
Well, I had a
Really?
list of like 100 names because I went on the internet and I was like, okay, just give me names, and they were all,
yeah.
just dumb little. How do I find the word here?
Yeah, right. Like
puns.
Puns,
cliches.
Yeah, because all acapella groups
Have to
did
be
that,
puns.
right? They, the acapellas and the, like those type of things.
Foreshadow.
Right. So anyway, those types of things that
But when did
play
we?
fun.
When did we actually figure out the name? I feel like it was almost a year or 2 into it or something.
I don't know if we had a name by the time I came back even. Maybe we did. I don't
Because we
remember.
kept doing shows or trying to do these little gigs around town where we're just talking, man, we got to get a name sometime.
We called something.
And I don't remember when we actually figured out when the name actually kept it. I
It
guess.
would have been early still, but I don't know.
Yeah.
we'd show up to little gigs and they'd walk up to Chris and be like, "So, what do we call you?" Chris. Chris and his other guys.
These other guys. Well, at some point,
Yeah.
we came up with the name.
We did. We
And
did.
I remember I think threw it out there as a throwaway.
As a joke.
And it's no worse than everything else we've been talking about.
Right.
But the kicker.
The funny part was I actually did the same thing to my wife when we were naming our firstborn. Like I just
wanted to call it Home Free.
jokingly threw out a name, not serious at all, and then she's like, "I love that." So anyway, we're all standing around in the church, just saying words and trying to get this thing to come together. And then I go, "How about Home Free?" You're like, "Okay, that could actually work." That's probably the best thing we've got so far. So we'll probably change it down the road.
We'll start with that.
But we'll start with that. And "Hey, how'd you come up with that name?" It's like, well, it's the name of my grandpa's boat, which never got old. It was always a fun story to tell.
People still ask this.
Do they?
All the time. They want to know where the name comes from.
Yeah.
So we always have to tell this story, but you keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you,
your
Adam.
story. I just want to let you know it's still relevant.
Well, that's good. That's good. I would assume the crazy fans now all know it, but maybe not.
The hardcore ones.
Check out the Wikipedia. Yeah, so my grandpa had a huge sailboat that he named Home Free, and then he sold that and bought a power yacht that he named Home Free 2. And I was like, let's just name it that. That sounds fun. And coincidentally, he was so proud of that he decided to give us our very first loan.
Yeah.
We showed him our financial statements. We've made nothing. We have nothing on the books. We may not ever do anything, but we need
$13,000.
Was it $13,000? Yeah.
So this is about 03, 04. So I've gotten back from Dallas now. I was there for a year working with Microsoft. And then we started kind of doing it again. I think at that point, Dan had left.
Yeah.
And then we brought in Joe Kent.
Yeah.
Joe Kent was singing bass for us.
Yeah.
And then we decided to try to get this equipment to actually have some microphones and speakers and do a thing. And Grandpa stepped up.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good loan, good terms.
We paid it back. We did.
Pay it back when you can eventually.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yes.
We blew the subwoofer off the first time we used it.
That's right.
I forgot about that, but yeah,
We
we
did.
were just being
Testing
dumb,
it out.
testing it out.
And
Knowing what we're doing.
the sound guy, the guy at the music store was, how does an a cappella group blow out a subwoofer?
Yeah. Yeah. But isn't that when you had like the throat mic thing too that you were trying
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
So it's now 2003,
Mm-hmm.
and we decided we needed some kind of material to show people what the heck we were doing. We needed a CD. And we couldn't afford actual studio time. We thought, we have some concerts coming up, let's record at one of them. And it was at Gustavus, the school that Adam and I went to. And we did our very first live CD with the first logo
The very first logo.
made by your
Yeah.
friend Chris Collins.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I
Forgot that.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Because you told him about the group, and he just drew that one day. Like, how about something like that? Like, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool.
Wow.
I was,
First CD. This
I
does
was-
not exist in the wild anywhere.
I was noticing. Well, that's good because
It's
it's
for the best.
not great. Was that the one we recorded at Gustavus?
Yeah, recorded live at
yeah.
Gustavus College on January 10th, 2004.
That was fun.
2004.
So this one, I just got.
So that's the Joe's back now.
That's the Joe's. Oh, that's right.
So then Darren left around that soon after that. Was kind of when he was done. And there was a guy at Mankato State who we were working with for other music stuff named Joe Fine, and we brought him to sing bass with us. And that was the group. That was the five-some for quite a while.
Yeah, for a few years. Our third annual home concert.
At the church.
Wow.
Now, that's funny. So we did one of those every year at Hosanna Church. It was like kind of our biggest show of the year because we'd have more people than normal that came
Yeah.
to see us ever. And it actually grew. The couple years before the sing-off, it was pretty successful. The Christmas
Yeah.
show we do there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good show.
Yeah.
And then the year that we were on the sing-off, this was the last show of the tour. And the capacity was like 1,300 or something.
Mhm.
And we sold out that first show, as soon as we aired on TV.
Yeah.
And then we put on a second show. And that's
But before that,
Matt was still involved.
let's get back to the good stuff.
Back to me.
Well, hold on. If you're gonna go back in time, you actually forgot something.
Oh, what did I forget?
We were on an audio recording before this.
The Hosanna CD.
Yes.
Oh,
And so our church band at Hosanna put together a CD in 2001, right before I went to Texas, and Home Free did two songs on it.
Yeah.
We did "Change of My Life"
Yep.
and the Smiling Song.
Yep.
Boom. That's the earliest audio recording, and I know this because
I gotta have that
the Home
somewhere.
Free people were coming to me and asking like, hey, "When's the first recording?" Because we need to know. And I was like, just digging through all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this was the very first thing we ever recorded."
I hope I can find that and put that on this little clip of "Change of My Life." That'd be
Wow. That's awesome. So we had this group then, Joe
Mhm.
Fine, Joe Kent, and then the three of us. And when was this done then?
Next level, 2005, 2006.
Glad that we had the dates in the back.
Well, I don't see a date on here.
Oh, darn
There
it.
must be a daily.
So we decided that,
It was like right
you
after.
can listen to the first CD. Actually, you
2005.
can't, but if you were to, there's so many jokes, and it's so funny because we're funny.
It was so funny.
It was so funny to us, and so we said, for the next CD project, we really need to do a dual release of a CD and a DVD, so they can see just how quite talented we are.
I mean, our outfits are really the best part of
They're
the
the
whole
best
thing.
part, yeah. We went to Express. Remember
Express for Men.
Or no, back then it was called
Structure.
Yeah.
have to
So
color
we
solid
went to Structure and we're gonna get all the exact same shirt but in different colors because then
And that blew our budget right there.
that was it. Now how do we make a CD? So that was a lot of fun actually.
Yeah, so that was the live concert at Bethany College in Minnesota.
We did audio comments.
Yeah, we did a behind the scenes commentary. That's right.
I gotta go back and watch that now.
Now the three of us just talking
just
about
us
the whole
three?
show. Yeah, just us three.
I gotta listen to this audio commentary. That's gotta be incredible.
Yeah.
And the show promotional taping, we did a little promo thing on their campus TV show.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the deleted scene?
That was the one of the tracks. The audio guy, his computer died during the recording,
Oh, okay.
so we didn't get the Santa song, Santa Mambo Santa,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
So we still put it on there with just the camera audio, just so we'd have a deleted scene.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I gotta look at that content.
So again, yeah, you cannot find this anywhere. When people ask about the first real projects, it's always the other ones we'll show you later.
I could share with you though that my kids are obsessed with Home Free. They watch every YouTube video. They watch. I mean, it's just anything that comes out. They are obsessed.
Ditto.
And so
They were in one of my videos.
you're obsessed too.
No,
Oh.
my kids are
Yeah.
obsessed. Yeah.
And so they're watching, Home Free, and their minds were blown when they met you two. Like, how do you know them? Like, I was famous too. Anyway, so I was like, you know what? I was in this. They're like, no, you weren't. So I played them this DVD, and they're like, we're bored. Can we watch Home Free now?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Whatever.
Oh, we were
Anyway.
young.
Yeah.
We were so
We were
young.
So I think that's about the time we were about to step up to our next big investment. The next loan from Grandpa.
The behind the van.
Oh, was that the van?
And
Van trailer, yeah.
Because we knew we had to get both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the CD project.
Because
And pay for seat,
because
all
the
that
vehicle
property,
the vehicle we were currently using,
The old blue van.
the old blue van,
The flamethrower.
it was a vehicle that my parents picked up in Arizona
Long time ago.
somewhere in the early 80s or something like
Yeah.
that. It was a 12-passenger van, and I mean it just took beating year after year after year because it was used for all kinds of travel for my mom with her gigs and
Yeah.
trips that they did, and I actually drove it down to
Dallas.
yeah, when you were moving back. And it had a lot of character in this vehicle. To list some of the highlights, it constantly backfired,
Constantly.
but not just out the side of the exhaust, underneath the carriage as well. So it was like sparks and flames coming out from both.
The
spots.
worst time, it got so bad. We got 3 miles of the gallon because there were flames coming out of the engine
Yeah.
off the side of the road. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna die.
The ceiling was falling down, so we
Yep.
had to prop it up with an umbrella
Yes.
between one of the seats and then the ceiling to hold it up. In the back, it had rusted through so much in the back right of the vehicle that you could actually reach through the floor to the ground, and the only thing separating you from that was the carpet.
Right.
It was
The
a great-
carpet might have been holding the whole thing together.
But-
honestly, it might have.
It was free.
It was free. Yeah.
Well, and then just where we finally made the decision that, you know what, it was at some county fair that we were performing at, and we just kept talking about we really got to get a newer vehicle because this is just dangerous, and we're like, this is such a POS.
Right.
Someone then gets into the passenger side in the front, and as soon as we said that, he shut the door, and the rear view mirror just falls down.
I remember that.
We were
That was
dying.
amazing.
Oh, we were dying.
Another thing I loved about that van was no heat. That was great for all the winter gigs in Minnesota. But what?
The time when Joe,
I was just gonna say that at that hotel. It was we went in the wrong or something. We're in this old 1980s, maybe 70s vehicle that it's white with this giant blue stripe, right? Or was it blue with a white stripe? I don't know. And it's just like the oldest van falling apart, whatever. And we get done with this gig up at the Radisson in Minneapolis, and we all climb in. We got it all loaded back up, and we're sitting there shivering, and we're like, "Where's Joe? Where's Joe?" Finally, we see him coming out of the hotel. He must have been grabbing more snacks at the hors d'oeuvre center or something, but he finally comes running out of the hotel and then gets in the brand spanking new all white Radisson van, and he's just sitting there. And we're like, what is he doing? And then after a couple minutes, he's looking around and then kind of looks out the window and then like comes in. He's like, I thought that was our van. Like, it's brand new. Anyway, and it says Radisson on the side. Anyway, that was funny. I think the best story about that van though was the night.
Yes.
No, that's not.
That was that vehicle.
That was that van.
Yes. Yeah, so before we go to so it was the trailer. The trailer was the next investment.
Right.
Yeah, that was
the trailer was. Yeah.
Trailer full of gear.
Yeah. So at this time, this is somewhere like 2006-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was contacting all of the high schools in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because a great way to perform and try to,
build something.
Build something is to call up high school choirs and say, hey, we want to come in and we'll workshop with the kids, and then we'll put on a show that night, and hopefully, parents will have the kids perform too, and hopefully parents will come and we can, try to make a buck or two as we develop our craft. And sometimes it worked. Most of the time it was, we tried to survive this thing. But one gig in particular went completely awry.
Forest Lake.
Who wants to tell that one? No,
North Branch. North Branch, you're right, yeah. North Branch. And we've got a whole Matt put together a fantastic video, which I'm going to link to because it's too long for this.
It's too long for this. Yeah.
But I'll link to it. If you've never seen it, it's unlisted on Home Free's channel, but it's still there.
Is it?
I think. Or maybe it's on Facebook. I think it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll try and link to it. But we don't want to talk about the whole story, but everything that could go wrong went wrong that night.
That's right.
I guess getting there was fine, and the show was fine.
The show was
it was trying to leave that night. That everything was
okay. We had just met Johnny F, who was going to do lights for us. It was the first time I think we used Johnny F. He provided us with lights for the show. So everything was kind of okay. This is the first time we were in North Branch, I believe.
It was the second time we were there.
It was the second time.
It was? Okay,
we came back the
second
second
time. And at this point, also, we had switched to, we had a new bass, we had Chris Foss.
Chris Foss was singing.
Which, is he still in Chanticleer? Or
he's in Cantus.
Cantus, yeah, he's in Cantus. Phenomenal musician, singer.
Amazing.
Great bass singer. He was awesome.
And a cool guy.
He
was cool.
Yeah. So, you should tell the story.
Okay.
You got it best.
Back to the
story.
The story of North Branch. So we got done with the show. It was a great show. Like, we really had a great show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I remember.
You were great.
I was really great. And we're loading everything up in the winter.
It was below zero.
So cold. Below zero.
January.
And the van...
No, this was April.
No.
Yeah, because Johnny made a 420 joke. April 20th. It was a cold day in April.
That doesn't make any sense. That's impossible.
It was 4:20 in the morning. Never mind. I'm gonna continue. It was January.
Back at and take two.
So North Branch, we had a great performance.
You were great.
I was great. And it was so cold out. It was
below zero.
Well below zero. And this glorious van that we had was frozen solid. I mean, I think the gasoline froze within it.
The entire engine block was just a solid chunk.
It was just frozen. Yeah.
Yep.
So
we're trying to pack up and leave, and we can't.
We're trying to get it going,
And this is like 11 at night. 10, 11 night?
Yeah, probably
Somewhere there.
around 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock at night.
You know, we get done with the show and we're signing things and we're talking to people. So, I mean, it was already like, stuff was closed.
Yeah.
So we finally, somebody there helps us find somebody.
We had a shop.
Yes,
A
it was
heated indoor
23 and a half hour towing. Remember
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I remember that. 23 and a half hour towing was the name of this company. Luckily, we caught them in the 23 and a half.
Yeah.
So they came and got the
Yeah, we had to tow it to the shop.
tow it to
I
the
went
shop.
with them to the shop. You guys stayed at the school.
Right, and we played basketball. Well, he played basketball. I did
Well, and
something
Chris
with
Foss,
basketball.
Chris Foss played basketball. Joe
Right.
Kent was there too, I think.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I don't know why. They just had the balls out, and luckily the janitor didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're just hanging out.
Yep.
They were cleaning the school.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
So we put the van in the garage so it warms up, and then it will start.
Well, no, you had to take a blowtorch to the
Yeah.
engine.
He might have done something. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was an hour or so plus to get that thing
Yeah.
starting up. But it's going. Thank goodness. We drive back to the school. It's midnight.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was now midnight.
Pack it all up.
Finally hit the road, and I think all of us were still living in Mankato, right?
Chris Foss we dropped off in
Okay.
Minneapolis, but the four of us were
The
still.
four of us had to get back to Mankato. So we're heading back, and I still shudder at the exact intersection
Your
of
shock
where it happened, but I'm driving, and all of a sudden it's just like something is happening, and I look, and there's sparks flying out of the trailer because we had not just like, oh, we got a flat tire, we had exploded the tire.
So
On-
the tire exploded.
It just exploded, and we could see what had happened was the tire, when it exploded, a big flap of the rubber had come off and then grabbed the fender of the trailer and ripped the whole fender back, which then turned it into a razor blade to continue shredding the rest of the tire. It was awful.
Impressive.
So I pull off the highway onto an exit ramp and just stop. We're stopped on the exit, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh. So we call,
It's now 1 a.m.
right, we call AAA or something. We call somebody
Somebody,
to
insurance
come
company,
figure this out, a tow truck. And then a squad car pulls up behind us,
checking on us.
just checking on us. So he waits with us while the tow truck comes to get the trailer.
And we're also thinking right now, it's already a really crap situation.
This is the
because
worst night of our lives.
We've got to get this thing somewhere, and then tomorrow come and figure out what to do with this.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we had actually already lost money on the gig.
We'd lost money on the gig.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Darn. So
Insult to injury.
Yeah.
So it was already the worst night ever. We get the trailer unhitched, and
Loaded
the
up on the
tow guy, but not yet. He goes, "Go ahead and pull the van forward." I'm like, okay. Put it in drive. Nothing. Like it was still running, but it was like stuck. He's like, "Do you have your parking brake on?" I was like, "No. What's going on?" Well, apparently the brakes had broken and fused themselves to the I don't know what you call it, the brake thing.
brake pads and rotors or something.
The rotor, yeah. I'm a stinger. I don't know what. It had fused itself, so now there was no way to move the van anyway.
Yeah.
So then they get this big flatbed and load the whole van and the trailer on top of this flatbed and take off.
No. The trailer the trailer on the flatbed and the van that was towed behind it.
Oh, was it? Because
Yeah.
the front tires could still turn.
Right.
So, but then the sheriff or state trooper or something's like, "Well, jump in, I'll take you. You know where you need to go." We're like, "Mankato?"
Where do we need to go right now?
So we
went to the
just asked him to take us to a Perkins.
No, he took us to the lot first.
Oh, the lot,
Yeah.
yes.
And the dogs are there barking at us.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is out of a horror movie.
It's like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep. And like, what are we gonna do? So we call my parents
Right.
in Mankato and say, please come get us.
Come up and get us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in Perkins at 4:20 in the morning,
Yeah.
waiting for my mom and dad to come and get us. And I remember sitting there at the table with the 4 of us and 5 with Johnny. And I'm saying, what are we doing? We're losing money,
Yeah.
putting all this time and effort
Yeah.
into something that's just not going anywhere. what are we doing?
Day.
It's really not going anywhere.
Yeah, so many levels.
I don't know that any of us wanted to do it again.
That was the lowest point for me. Like I was like, should we really keep doing this or just quit?
Yeah.
This is never gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
Whoa.